All right, Nick, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Bucs. One of the young rookies the Bucs have acquired is starting to make noise all around training camp. Both sides of the ball are starting to notice this guy. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. Nick, as I alluded to, Tampa Bay have a young rookie starting to make a ton of noise, and that is young rookie wide receiver Jalen McMillan. He's impressing a lot of important people on both sides of the ball. Let's get into this article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This, of course, is from over on Pewter Report. It says, this past Saturday, quarterback Baker Mayfield spoke highly of Jalen McMillan and what he has seen from him this offseason, calling him a young stud with a ton of potential. That potential has started to flash 2 days into training camp, and it's clear that he's already on the same page with Mayfield. The two linked up several times throughout Thursday's practice, including one for a touchdown in tight coverage. Cornerback Zion McCollum has a unique perspective of going against McMillan at practice, and he shared that the rookie plays and acts more like a veteran. He's savvy, McCollum said. I mean, he runs routes a little bit like a vet. He comes up to me, we talk ball a lot. He beats me on a couple. He tells me where he got me. And when I get him, he asks me what I see. Did I know what route it was going to be? Things like that. He's already has the mindset where he's trying to make plays and trying to act like a vet. Nick, I think this is a perfect attitude for a young rookie to come in. I think we're starting to see the results of having an attitude as such. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this one, but Bucs fans, in the comment section below, season is coming up. It is just around the corner. We're going to start to see preseason not too long from now. So it gives you a little bit of time. Start thinking about what is your most anticipated matchup this year. I think the Bucs have a lot of big games. I think this is a team out to prove something, that they are the real deal. You got your quarterback locked up for a little bit now. So let us know, what matchups are you looking forward to this season in the comment section below. While you're down there, check the description below the video. Check out one of our recommended books to help tide you over until football starts. That is none other than Playmakers by Mike Florio, a great book about the ins and outs of football. Check our Amazon affiliate link in the description below. Costs you nothing extra, but it helps us out a lot. So if you want to get the book, please use our link. But Nick, what are your thoughts on McMillan?
So it's interesting, right? One of the things we talk about on this channel all the time, we call it corroborating evidence, right? When we want to see a rookie or a new player on a team, we're looking for multiple sources saying that player is doing good things or is about to break out or is a steal or whatever, right? And so we've got the quarterback Mayfield saying good things. It's a great sign. Then the DB chimes in. It's like, okay, that's really, really good. But then you look at the other players in that wide receiver room. This is what Chris Godwin had to say, talking about him, saying he's coming in and playing with confidence. He's doing a really good job of taking in the advice from the vets, from me and Mike Evans, from Sterling Shepard, guys who have played a lot of ball. He's really taking in that advice and applying it. And this is actually what Todd Bowles had to say about him as well. He said, he's still developing right now. We know he has outstanding hands and competitiveness. We know he can play all three spots. You have Trey Palmer and Raheem Jarrett and a lot of guys in there playing, but we're really high on McMillan. He's very smart. He's very competitive. He has a motor that doesn't stop. That's only going to help us. I think we're still unwrapping the things he can do. He can do to put in the offense to help us. We've got a good 2 or 3 weeks in, and you'll see more of that. All right, so now we're talking Coach Bowles saying great things about McMillan, saying they're trying to find ways to use him, right? They're trying to figure out all the different ways they can use him. They love his competitiveness. You love the veterans, Godwin, receiver room. They're really excited about him. He's a competitive guy, but he's learning from the vets as well. No matter where you look, everyone's excited about this kid, and that is a great sign for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I know everyone thinks of these Buccaneers teams as a really great the wide receiver room, and they're good, right? That's undeniable. But the numbers, when you break down the analytics, they're not quite as good as you might think, just because Mike Evans is so spectacular. According to PFF, they finished 17th in the NFL in receiving grade last year. And again, Mike Evans is phenomenal. So if you remove Mike Evans, they're kind of a little bit below average. Obviously some injuries and some age affects that in the receiver room. So there definitely is a need for an additional quality receiver to add into the mix, especially since you doled out some cash to Baker Mayfield. And I think McMillan's going to be that guy, right? At this point, he looks like, to be totally honest, it looks like probably the steal of the draft for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, maybe for the entire division. Who knows? Because it is so rare to have a young player come in so early in training camp and have his opponents, this competition on the defensive side of the ball, think he's great. To have his quarterback think he's great. His coach thinks he's great. And his teammates in the wide receiver room think he's great, right? That is, I don't know if we've seen that this year. I don't know when's the last time we've seen it, but all in all, it's a great sign for Jalen McMillan and a great sign that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have found themselves a special playmaker here.
Yeah, Nick, and it's no too little, too late here as far as getting a good another receiving option on the field. I actually kind of forgot they had Sterling Shepard till you bring it up, but you look at his numbers. I don't know how much Sterling Shepard's bringing to the table nowadays. He's had probably the three worst years consecutively, getting worse. Last year, a 50 grade per PFF. The last 3 years, just kind of on the decline, but a guy with a lot of knowledge, a guy who's been around the league, been around some great players. So it's good you can get knowledge from that aspect. But you look at the rest of this locker room, I think the top end is established. Godwin is a guy who's got a lot. Mike Evans is a guy who's probably a surefire Hall of Famer. This guy's an excellent player. But then you look outside of that. I think right now, if you look at PFF, they have slotted in maybe Trey Palmer, the rookie from last season out in Nebraska, is the third option. I think we see a guy like McMillan. If he keeps up this work, this is a guy who can start to slip in, getting some reps. This guy who can start to slip into this offense and solidify your receiving room. So eventually, when you got to let one of these guys go, I think inevitably maybe a guy like Godwin, prices himself out when the next contract comes around, something like that. You can start to establish and get a great, solid guy in here. I think a guy like McMillan, you look at his draft profile, they rate him out. They say he can be a very good number 2 receiving option. Maybe he can get himself. He doesn't necessarily have the top end speed like some of these other guys do, but he is so crafty, such a student of the game. I think he'd be an excellent slot, excellent number 2 wide receiver. And I think the Bucs, like you said, probably got themselves an excellent steal in this draft.
And one final point, let's give some credit to the Buccaneers front office for everything they've done the past couple of years in the draft, right? We're very high on Kalijah Kancey and Yaya Diaby, obviously from prior years, young guys coming into their own on the defensive side of the ball. This year, though, a lot of success. If you look at it, you got Graham Barton. Looks like he's going to be a heck of a player on your offensive line. Of course, we're very, very high on Bucky Irving, the running back. We talked about him a lot this offseason. And then Jalen McMillan looks like he could be, like I said, the steal of the draft potentially. So a lot of credit is due the Bucs front office for putting together a lot of quality drafts. And frankly, it's the reason they're contenders in the NFC South once again.